What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Thomas Gallery, and today I want to talk about changes as an artist. Now, what I mean by that is, you know how you spend maybe like a year on a particular style, I should say, but then you find yourself becoming impatient, stagnant. It seems like your art isn't improving, okay? And you wanna know, how do I get better as an artist? Because I'm starting to feel that my skill level is just feels stuck. It's just stuck. It's just not improving. How do I get over that hump and into the next level, the next evolution of my art? Well, I've gone through this plenty of times, and usually I've noticed that when I feel this way, I feel my art is on the right path. What I mean by that is, if I'm used to drawing a certain way or painting a certain way, right? And all of a sudden I feel like my work isn't moving forward, it isn't pushing, right? Usually when I feel that way, very shortly after, there's like a period of time where I just stop. I just stop. Then later, then sometime after that period of time, when I get back into the feel, the groove of art again, I find my art has improved in some form or fashion. And it took me a while to feel this way, because I felt this way before, but like, it was always, why is it happening? Why can't I improve? And what I realized is, I had to figure out, when those moments happen, what are some of the things that I do that help me improve? So I really had to think about this. So this is ways to get out of being stagnant. So I would say, when I get that feeling that my work is not improving, and I get that impatient, it's like an impatient feeling. When I'm doing a drawing or painting, I find myself becoming more and more impatient. I find myself becoming frustrated faster. And it's like, okay, like I'm just not inspired anymore. That could be what it is. I'm just not inspired anymore. So what do I do to get back in the flow? Back in getting inspired again? Well, what I do is, I would step away from it. Step away from it. Step away from that piece of art, whatever I'm doing. I would just stop it, put it to the side, because obviously my mind isn't fully invested in this. So let me put this to the side, step away from it, and I'll do something else. I'll work on writing. I'll work on writing some ideas out, things of that nature. And also, what do I do is, I found inspiration, like, or I like go on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram something, and I look at other artists' work for inspiration, or art magazines or photography magazines, because I found that all it takes is for something or someone who is also an artist. If I see a work that is inspiring, then that would rev up the gears again for inspiration, and I can get back into my flow. And once I've done that, see, what I'll do is, I'll look at different artists, whether it be photography, it could be, you know, sculpting, painting, comic book drawings, anything, uh, dance performances, certain movies I like to watch, and something will jump out at me in those particular things where it will inspire me. it for some reason, some particular things would just jump out at me, and it would inspire me. It would hit me, and it would inspire me. And I say, okay, I got the juices flowing now. Let me get back into the swing of things. Let me get back into the swing of things. Then that will re-energize me and say, okay, I can get back in there because I now have some new ideas. I have some new techniques. Because maybe you're uninspired because you come across a situation where you don't have the techniques or the skills necessary at the moment to solve that artistic issue. So it could be a new technique you learn. It can be you getting inspired by certain music you hear in a movie or something, like a score of a movie. Those things, or just going outside, walking, also you see something going on, or you hear a sound, and it would inspire you. These things happen. So what I would do is I always keep some kind of, I won't say, it's not really the term I want to use, but I'll just use it just as a general term. An artistic magazine. What I mean by that is, you see certain magazines, you may see certain fashion magazines or something like that, or certain car magazines, and just the way the photography is done. Maybe it could be like the colors, how crisp the photo is, where it would this is really really nice. Like the way the lighting is done in the picture is really really nice. It inspires me. That happens with me. So I always keep some kind of magazines of like a lot of photographs in it. Also, I would keep a lot of journals around me. A lot of journals. Okay. Write, because I could write ideas. That if I may have an idea in my head, but I don't want to lose it, I'll write it down. Because at that moment, I'm still not inspired to draw or to paint or anything or to create, but the idea is still there. So what I'll do is take one of my journals out, write it down. I'll take my phone and type it in there so I won't forget it. Okay. Or I'll listen to certain music. Music is a big inspiration for me. Okay. This is how it helps me evolve, because I may get ideas from the lyrics of the song that I say, you know what, that'd be a good painting. That'd be a good drawing. That'd be really, really cool. Or I wonder if anybody's ever done a sculpture where the inspiration is lyrics to a song. I wonder. And all of a sudden, it just always happens. Or I look at certain cartoons, certain anime, and just see the techniques that they use, and just see the certain scenes, and it would just inspire me. And what always happens, it never fails, it always happens. I do all that, and I'm still not drawing yet. I'm still not creating yet. Still not. And all of a sudden, I'm going to sleep. I'm trying to go to sleep, and it could be 2, 3, 4 in the morning. All of a sudden, boom, just like that, an image pops in my head, and it will not leave me until I do something with that idea. It's stuck in my head. So 2, 3, 4 in the morning, I'll get up, grab my sketchbook, my pencil, my pen, or whatever, and the way the idea comes out, it's like a stepping stone. Like whatever technique I learned, I said, okay, I'm gonna use this technique, or it's this particular trick or this particular shortcut that I learned. I will use that particular skill in this new thing, because now I'm inspired, because I got all these pieces of inspiration around me that I can use and infuse them into the work. Once I do that, okay, boom. And if it's really good, I say, okay, this will become a painting. Or this will look awesome as a drawing. And I can say, okay, I can color the drawing in, or I can leave it black and white. But this would be awesome if I did it as a drawing. This would be awesome if I did it as a painting. Already got the idea in my head. I can see the idea now. And now that I have the tools, and I'm now reinvigorated, okay, now put it into motion. So, for me, these things happen once a year. Once a year, I get this feeling. I get this itch, this impatient, uneasy feeling that I'm being stagnant. And once I get that feeling, I now know from my own personal experience, I now know that, okay, I'm about to evolve because I'm starting to feel stagnant. See, usually the new frontier only comes when you go from the place that you're comfortable into the place that you are uncomfortable. New frontiers never happen when you're comfortable. New ideas never happen when you're comfortable. New frontiers only happen when you go to the place where you are uncomfortable. And for me, artistic wise, I know when I'm about to get to that point where I start feeling uneasy. Now, I haven't reached it yet because I'm actually in the moment where I am back to being inspired. I'm in that moment now. If you see, like, every day I'm doing a drawing, like the Silver Surfer drawing, or the Bane drawing, or the Batman, the Batgirl, all that stuff, that's coming from me being reinvigorated, okay, re-energized, rejuvenated. What you're seeing is the result of me getting out of that funk, artistic funk, the artistic stagnation, and I'm in right now the mode of inspiration. I'm in it now. I'm in my groove now. But I know that when that feeling comes upon me, that stagnant feeling comes over me, I know what to do now. For me, I mean, everybody's different, everyone's different, but I have figured out what to do when I am in that mode of stagnation. And for me, it works every time. Some people are different. Some people may not even have that particular issue like I have. But for me, and I know there's some artists like that who do have this similar issue, that artistic stagnation. And for me, have figured out what to do. And it works for me. It works for me. So, for any artists out there listening who are going through the same thing, first of all, recognize when you are getting in that mode of stagnation. Make sure you can recognize it first. Make sure you know what it feels like, what it looks like, what it sounds like when you are getting into that mode of stagnation. Okay? Now, once you can recognize it, and then think back to all the moments where we were in that mode, and then when you got out of it. Okay? Think about when you were in that funk, and then when you got out of that funk. Then ask yourself the question: how did I get in the funk? Or when did I get in the funk? How long did the funk last? Or stagnation last? How long did the stagnation last? What was I doing prior to me exiting the stagnation? Okay? What did I do? Like, what was I doing that all of a sudden the next day or the next moment I was re-energized? Recognize those things. Write them down if you got to. But recognize those moments. So that way you can calculate, you can really actually scientifically, and I mean actually, like, scientifically evaluate when that happens, because all artists go through a moment of when they just feel like their art isn't evolving, when they just stuck. All artists feel this way. I don't know artist who hasn't, but it's the aware artists, it's the artists who are conscious of this, who can navigate through it and say, okay, I feel it come. I feel the stagnation coming on, which means every time I go through a stagnation, there's an evolution. Okay, and in the middle is where you do the learning. Okay, then you exit, and go into the evolution. Then you really you change, you evolve, then you re-evolve, and you improve. Okay, so just some clues, just some hints. You know, like I said, everybody's different, but just think about that for yourself. Just think about those moments for yourself, and see where you are, and see if you can recognize where you are in that particular transition, and when it happens, and see if there are ways you can really navigate through and get out of it and improve, evolve and improve as an artist. Okay, so that's all I have for now. Thank you all for listening. Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will catch you all later. Peace.